Arguably the most hotly anticipated game coming in January 2023 is EA Motive Studios' Dead Space Remake, which will be a faithful and imaginative revision of the classic 2008 sci-fi survival horror. Dead Space's mutant monsters, the Necromorph, are as frightening and alluring as ever, and this time they'll be presented in ever more twisted detail owing to the remake's peeling system, a technological gore machine that'll fabricate unprecedented layers of flesh, tendon, and bone into every severed limb. To prepare for our trip back through the pitch-black corridors of the interstellar mining chip-cum-space dungeon USG Ishimura, we're looking at some of Dead Space's key Necromorph monsters, and how their organic design and natural instincts fit into the lore of the Necromorph race. First up are the decidedly creepy Infectors, the Necromorph facehuggers hell-bent on spreading the Necromorph infestation by brutally invasive measures. Their MO simply is to further the Necromorph contagion by impaling their victims with a sharp protruding proboscis, stabbing it into the skulls of any human dead or alive, before injecting the Necromorph mutation formula. We say dead or alive, but Infectors are known to prefer corpses, and are often encountered throughout the Ishimura where there are plenty of dead crew. Obviously, infecting immobile dead bodies is less effort for them, their sole purpose to create more Necromorph monsters unimpeded by living victims who will likely fight back. For this reason, the biggest threat Infectors pose is in their rapid creation of other Necromorph. Seriously, Dead Space's first Infector encounter, and the speed at which it morphs Captain Matthias's body, is frightening. That's why it's good practice to sever the limbs of any dead corpses encountered, whether there are Infectors lurking or not. The Infectors themselves are rather frail, and can be taken down without unloading too much firepower. Their form, resembling something of a twisted stingray melded with the headless torso of a bat, is composed of flaps of skin and leg bone. They're a decidedly flimsy structure compared to some other Necromorphs. So, whilst yes, they're amongst the weaker enemies, the tried and true strategy of severing limbs doesn't necessarily apply to the Infectors. Instead, the most effective strategy is to deploy stasis whilst they're busy infecting another person, and then severing the protruding proboscis before it has chance to administer the Necromorph contagion liquid. Another altogether riskier strategy is to encourage the Infector to attack, triggering an intense tussle resulting in swift death for the Infector or a brutal decapitation for the player. Speaking of brutality, and from the flimsiest Necromorph to their most gargantuan, the Brute are massive Necromorph composed of multiple human corpses fused together to create an immensely strong, physically demanding behemoth. Encountering a Brute is always tough going, made all the more deadly by their impenetrable, armor-plated exoskeleton. Plus, despite their sheer scale, these things can move. A Brute charging ape-like is a formidable sight, with the best strategy oftentimes to turn and run. Come face to face with one and their punch and headbutt 1-2 combo will easily send Isaac flying. Their encounters function as Dead Space's mini-bosses, in areas that are more open than the confines of the Ishimura's corridors. What this means is that there's ample opportunity to outrun and outmaneuver most Brutes. Despite their speed and acrobatic ability, it's only careless players who'll succumb to a Brute's pummeling. Get round the back, and this is where their weak areas are found, highlighted by yellow spots around the shoulder joints and hind legs. See, plasma cutters and line guns won't work on the Brute's front side, but from behind, any firepower unleashed on those yellow weak spots causes the Brute to convulse and curl into a ball. That said, a flamethrower can be used if tackling a Brute head-on, as the flames will fan over its back, but deploying stasis and sneaking round its behind to hack and sever their limbs is far and away the best strategy. Sever a Brute's limbs and they reveal their secret weapon, although it's not entirely unexpected nor hard to deal with. Yes, akin to the Leviathan or the Slug, injured brutes will shoot organic bombs at Isaac. These bombs are relatively easy to catch with kinesis though, and can be flung back at the brute, dealing it severe damage. For all the initial fear when first encountered, dealing with a brute is straightforward enough. Their ape-like speed and dexterity has fueled speculation that their true origin is of a mutant animal, perhaps a gorilla or an orangutan. For all the brute's monkey-like movements adding weight to this theory, it's more likely the brutes originate from the corpses of several dead humans, deliberately fused together by the Earth's government forces during their experiments with the original Black Marker's transmission signal. Another offshoot of marker experimentation is the hive mind. Remember, these sovereign colonies constructed 3 red markers and placed them on 3 distant planets, Aspera, Nemar, and Aegis 7, for the purpose of studying their potential for harvesting renewable energy. Marker 3A was placed deep underground on the rocky, Earth-like Aegis 7 following military testing. The marker created the hive mind as a result of these experiments, but its influence remained dormant for 200 or so years until the illegal planet-cracking operation came to the rocky exoplanet. The first colonies on Aegis 7 were already being driven mad by marker-induced dementia by the time the USG Ishimura arrived to crack the planet's surface. As the mining operation begins and huge portions of the planet are extracted, the hive mind nestled deep underground is exposed. Everything that happens with the Necromorph is influenced by the hive mind. They're mere pawns in its game. The hive mind even reaches out to Isaac, feeding whispers and visual hallucinations, imploring him to return the red marker 3A back to Aegis 7's surface. Dead Space's final showdown is between Isaac and the hive mind, the earlier glimpses of it giving way to its true form. The hive mind is a massive worm-like concoction, tentacle-clad and vicious. Most of its body lays deep within Aegis 7, and Isaac never sees it all. Of what is revealed, though, is a head-like structure with a massive mouth laced with rows of sharp teeth, plus yellow-tinged eyes serving as weak points, and a vibrating rib cage housing humongous organs. The back of the hive mind features huge antennae, which presumably are the means in which it communicates to the Necromorph across the planet and aboard the USG Ishimura. The prevailing theory behind the hive mind, that of it being the effective command center of the Necromorph contagion, is proven correct in Dead Space 3 during the embellishment of the Necromorph backstory, as told through events on the frozen planet Tau Volantis. It is revealed in that game that these massive creatures held capability to act as conduits for marker signals, with them even able to share many of the marker's ill effects, such as dementia, insomnia, and depression. The most memorable of the hive mind, though, is perhaps its blood-curdling wail. With 15 years of developmental know-how since the original's release, it'll be interesting to see how EA Motive Studio designed the hive mind's screams for modern audiences come this year's remake. So what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.